Hello, beautiful ones, and welcome to the final 13 days of this entire cycle of time. Ah! So, if you've not been here before, my name is Jyoti, and I work very closely with the Galactic Mayan calendar, aka the Dreamspell. I've been living through it on a daily basis for 11 years, and it is an absolutely transformational framework to navigate reality through. This is the final call for the Galactic Mayan Diary. So, this is the ultimate tool for understanding how this frequency works. So, every day you get a breakdown of the energy of the day, but you also get space to muse onto. It's a journal so that you can reflect on your experiences, but then put it into context. So, as I'm going to be in Glastonbury, if you want it to arrive on time, you've got to order by the 13th of March, and then it will definitely get to you. And I've noticed that some people didn't know that I ship internationally. So, if you are somewhere else in the world, I ship everywhere. You pay for the shipping because it's bloody expensive. Um, but yeah, I'll ship anywhere. So, I can't guarantee now that it would definitely, I just got pop up on my computer, just want to get rid of that. That it would definitely arrive for the 25th of March, which is when the new cycle begins. But that's okay because you've got loads of time. But I don't have that many copies left. So if you do want one, you need to order pronto, my darling. Pronto, pronto. So here we are. The way that we journey through the dream spell. We are in this collective dream. It is a spell of consciousness, of expansion, of evolution, and we can navigate it consciously. We are being asked to navigate it consciously. And the Galactic Mayan calendar gives us the framework. It shows us the different faces of what it is to be a human being. So we get to work with these 20 different archetypes. And at the moment, as we enter this final 13-day cycle before the new spin begins, we're really in this integration reflection moment for the 9 months that have passed since we began our journey in July. So it was the second week of July that this evolutionary spin started. So whatever we've been journeying since July, we're now in this final, essentially, couple of weeks of reflecting upon and integrating the learning and the medicine that we have journeyed through. So before we even speak into the archetype of the yellow star, which is the final Wavespell, the final 13-day process that we move through, it's important for us to recognize that the coming 13 days are it's a window. And, we've got a lot of other forces astrologically moving through us and within us and around us at the moment too. So we've got, Mercury retrograding soon, we've got Venus retrograding, we've got eclipse season beginning, we've got these really intense moments of shift and change. And, there are themes that we're working with within all of that. So for these 13 days, as I say, I'm going to speak into the yellow star archetype now, but it's important to realize that we are in this reflection and integration moment. And it may be that there are big changes coming. We might have already been going through big changes. I know that I have, but it's always for us. And this is what the beauty of this modality demonstrates. It's like the ultimate get out of the victim mentality guide because we really get to witness through synchronicity the way that our experiences synchronize with the energy of the archetype and the medicine of the archetype, that nothing is ever happening to us, it's always happening for us. So reflect upon what's been going on in your world since July. And if you've been using the diary, it's a great tool because you get to the end of the cycle and you're able to reflect on, because each wave spell you get an opportunity to give a bit of a summary of your learning. So you can look back and see your personal development. You can see what you've been working with. You can see what you've been integrating. And this therefore makes it easier for us to do like the rituals and the completion exercises and the new beginning exercises and rituals and ceremonies that really help us to align our will and our mind and our heart with our physical experience. So over this coming 13 days, the final day of the spin is on the 24th of March. So if you can, on that day, create space to reflect upon what's been, if you reflect over the next couple of weeks, but then do something to mark your learning, what's come into your life, what's gone out of your life, what does that mean about where you're at in your life, and when we allow ourselves to move through these rhythms of time in an evolutionary way, it's like every 9 months we hit this new place of like, okay, so where am I at now in my existence? How much more refined am I? How much freer am I inside and outside? And our process is always this, we've got things from the past that we need to process and that we need to let go of and that we need to learn from and that we need to evolve through. And then we've also got this need to utilize our awareness to create and align. It's the twofold path of like, what are we creating? What is the life that we are choosing to build and choosing to live for ourselves and for the collective? And also, in order to enable that, what do we need to let go of from the past, and how can we journey that, and how can we integrate that, and how can we process that? So on the 12th of March, Wednesday, tomorrow, we begin the final 13-day process. And the archetype that governs this final Wavespell is the archetype of the yellow star. So the yellow energy is all about the blossoming, the flowering, the revealing, the shining. Maybe less shining. The shining is a bit more yellow star. And I don't mean shining like, here's Johnny. I mean shining like sparkliness. So within this yellow star archetype, we have the energy of being seen in our authenticity. The yellow stars that I know, mainly the yellow stars that I'm close to, are children or have been close to, are children. And these are the people that want to be center stage and that are excellent at being center stage and that have this phenomenal magnetism and thrive in being their unique selves. And that's really what the energy of the yellow star is here to tease out of us. So as it's the final process, essentially the invitation for us all is to become as comfortable as we can be at being in the spotlight, at being seen for who we are. And we've got so much conditioning and challenge around this because the majority of us have been born into an education system and a world that is built upon hierarchy, that is built upon competition, that is built upon, this deep comparison. That means that it's very challenging for us to recognize ourselves for ourselves and feel confident in ourselves as individual beings. But it's important for us to recognize that the challenge is conditioning, So therefore, actually, there is a space for each one of us. And I remember a few years ago on a dance floor, I had this beautiful moment of recognizing, that it's not about how much space is horizontally, because when we look at space in a horizontal way, it needs to be, if everybody's going to have their space, it needs to be split up equally. And, if somebody is taking up loads of space, then that means that everybody else doesn't get as much space. But when we look at space on a vertical, it's infinite. You and I can expand and deepen infinitely and not take anything away from the other. So really what we're being asked to do is allow ourselves to expand on the vertical. Allow ourselves to be the deepest us that we can be. Allow ourselves to be the tallest brightest us that we can be. So within the yellow star energy as well, we have this recognition that each one of us has got our own individual code. So you've got your astrological code, you've got your ancestral code, you've got the code of this lifetime, you've got the code of previous lifetimes. We all have incredibly unique influences that make us who we are. And when we are born, particularly into the Western world, the way that we are taught to identify is through this very small parameter. You know, I'm a woman, so a big thing for me and all women, it's been like our worth is completely related to and dependent upon our looks. And the doors that open and the doors that won't open, all these different pieces that have hooked us into this very disempowered, very mini recognition of who we actually are. And we're really, we have to, it's not even that we're invited to, like, we have to fucking break through this shit. You know, we have to find ourselves in the multidimensional. We have to find ourselves through the stories of our families and ancestors and cultures. We have to find ourselves through, you know, the astrological imprint that we embody and what that means, and the gifts and the talents and the all of it that we're therefore gifted with and challenged by. So the yellow star invites us to know ourselves. So this is a really wonderful time to, and it aligns, you know, beautifully this time as well, you know, with the Aries season that is approaching. We really get to dive into self, to understand self, to recognize self, because only when internally we can recognize who we are and what we bring and our magic, can we then bring it out into the world in a way that is authentic and congruent. So that's one piece of the yellow star. The other side of it is then being able to be seen in that. It's then being able to hold the energy, hold the reflection that comes from others when we are in that. And as I've already mentioned, you know, we've all been through this crazy conditioning that's like pitted us against each other. So sometimes when we do shine our light into the world, it can feel threatening for other people. So it's about being able to be okay with other people feeling threatened by our shine. But then also on the other side, ensuring that we're creating space. If we're somebody that's really confident in shining, are we creating the space for others to also do the same? So there's a lot of responsibility when it comes to sharing space with other human beings, you know? We've got the responsibility to ourselves, to be ourselves, to know our truth, to stand up into that. But then we also have the responsibility to the other people. Like, okay, am I creating a space that feels invitational for everybody to do the same? And if the space doesn't feel like that, how can I do something to create more safety and invitation? So essentially, this 13 days is about how can you be the star that you are? What is in the way of you being the star that you are? What still needs to be released for you to be the star that you are? And again, because it's the final of the 13-day processes, this is a really amazing moment to like reflect on all that you've journeyed since July and how that's taken you into deeper embodiment of who you are, deeper space to be who you are, you know. And this is something that for me, yeah, you know, I think my life has been a series of like really intense experiences that have broken and killed me off, to then allow more space for something incredible to be burst through. And yesterday I was in the post office posting the diaries. And the woman that works there, she's really cool, and she's really into reptiles. And she was telling me like all this mad shit about all these different crazy reptiles that she's got. And she was talking about the praying mantises, mantes, I don't know how you say it, that she's got. And when they shed their skin, they literally double in size. So in terms of us being the stars that we are, we will have been through, because it's the nature of this reality, deaths to allow us to become more of ourselves. And if we resist the deaths, if we resist the endings, if we resist the things that have to go for us to be more us, we're resisting our growth and we're robbing the world of who we are and our medicine. So for the next 13 days, this is a moment of reflection, of completion, of integration. On the 24th of March, if you can, create space for some kind of a ceremony to honour what you've been through over the past 9 months as we move toward the rebirth of the Red Dragon on the 25th of March. Also, give yourself a little bit of a challenge to be seen. If there's an opportunity for you to be seen, particularly creatively, because the yellow star and all of the yellow signs are very creative energies. If there is an opportunity for you to be seen, then take it. If there's an opportunity for you to be vulnerable, take it. If there's an opportunity to reveal your true self to somebody, take it. Be brave, be seen. I remember years and years and years ago, and this is like back in the I'm a messy party monster days. We'd been up for a few days and we were like roaming around the streets, and I can't remember if I picked it up or if my mate Joey did and then gave it to me. But there were just this, we used to always find like random little messages on the floor or shit, and we found it was this piece of paper that I think I've probably still got somewhere. I've got like one box of stuff that has survived all of the moves and all of the years and the sentimental box. But anyway, in it says, be bold, be bright, be seen. And I think if anything, particularly now on the planet, that's what we need. It's what we need, to be our authentic selves, because our authentic selves are always beacons of love. Anything else is just stuff, gump in the way. So be bold, be bright, be seen. And if you've not got your diary and you want one, order it now, because they are going to run out. And particularly if you want to get it before the start of the cycle, I'd really recommend getting it now. And enjoy the final 13 days of this spin. Take it easy, mark this cycle of time in whatever way you mark time, whether it's a little cacao ceremony or something in the woods or something on the beach or something with friends or something alone or whatever it is. It can literally just be the lighting of a candle with intention. But I really invite you to do that. All right, my darlings. So much love. Till next spin.